Hello, people pouring in. What's going on, everyone? Good to see you. I am Sam Lazarus, creative director for Rokoko. We're going to get this webinar started soon, but first we're just going to let people kind of trickle in because, you show up it's for 11, but maybe that means 11:03, 11:05. But welcome, everyone. Man, Alberto Flores. Alberto, you're at the top of my list right here. You got that strong A name. Hello, everyone. Carlos, Sem, Christian, Daryl. He's going to try and read, Gulliver, Joseph, Karen, Maria, Najib. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So, yeah, again, we're going to get started in a few minutes. I'm actually going to, and the chat is blowing up. So while we wait, I'm going to launch a few polls and go over some info, just general info, and then we'll get started at like 11:05. So, and I'm going to repeat all this as we go along, but there's a Q&A. We'll be doing a Q&A. So you can always put your question into the Q&A. It's at the bottom of your UI. You should be able to type in a question. And we have people standing by actually on the webinar who will be answering stuff. And then I'll also be going through questions at the end. And we can actually go through them like in Unreal in real time. We also have a couple polls that we're going to launch this time. So I'm going to launch one of these polls. And the first one is level of CG experience. And so we've used these before, but now, yeah, okay, awesome. Everyone's doing it. It's so great. So this kind of will just give us an idea of where everyone's coming from. Looks like we have oh man, it's so cool. We can see all the things. We got about thirds of newbies, students, and seasoned pros. And then a couple of you, I'm sick as well, I'm sorry, so there might be some coughing. A couple of you are saying that you're GOAT level, which is great. You got to have that confidence in this industry, baby. Okay, so we're a little bit all over the place. Some people have done a lot of CG, some people are just getting started. Hopefully this webinar will be useful to everyone. We're going to be talking about some basic concepts, but we're also going to be going through, some more just things that are useful to everyone, right? Because we're talking mostly about previs in this webinar, how we think about our shots and our scenes. And so that hopefully will be interesting to everyone, especially using custom Rokoko mocap, right? Which is what we're going to be doing live. So it looks like these are pretty much answered. I'm going to end this because it looks like it's about a third. So I'm going to launch our next poll, share results. Boom. Can I launch polls while okay, no, I can't. Now I have to stop sharing. So I'm going to launch another one, 3D software. So, we're going to be working in Unreal today, but we have tutorials on our YouTube channel for pretty much every type of 3D software, using Rokoko motion capture in it, whether it's retargeting, live streaming. It looks like, and so this is also, preferred CG software, but hopefully also what you hope to see. And yeah, this makes sense. It's about the biggest ones right now are Blender and Unreal, which is pretty typical. It's what we see generally. There's a lot of people in Blender and Unreal, and that's where I think a lot of new people are coming in. We've got some Unity, we got some Maya, couple Cinema 4D, couple Houdini, couple my Icon people. Okay, but mostly Blender and Unreal, and that's great because we are going to be in Unreal today. We do these webinars in a variety of software, so stay tuned if you want to, if you want to see a Maya one. I don't know, put it in the chat, blow it up. I'd love to do a Maya one. We'll get there eventually. And so we're going to keep doing these. So I'm going to end this and I'll share the results. And we'll get started in just a minute. Everyone, we're just letting people trickle in again. I'll stop sharing. Love to learn them all. Christopher, me too. Last poll before we get started. Motion capture experience. So have you ever played with mocap? Do you use it all the time? You a Mixamo person, which like we all are. No shame in that, baby. Love me some Mixamo. Have you played with other types of motion capture marketplaces, like the Motion Library in Rokoko Studio? Good place to get mocap. So it looks like most people have just played with it a little bit, have probably dipped their toes in, probably used Mixamo, maybe have retargeted even a couple times. And that's generally what we find too, right? Motion capture, because it's been so inaccessible for so many years, it's still new for a lot of people. So we find either people are, there's a few people who like that's their whole specialty. there's a lot of people who've never used it. And then there's a lot of people in the middle who are like, yeah, I've used Mixamo, or I've retargeted it, or I've tried to edit some mocap, but I gave up on it. And so that's good too, because that's kind of the level we're at, right? We're trying to be right in the middle. We're going to be doing things that are semi-advanced, but also like very accessible to everyone. And also everything we're doing today is going to be completely free, which is really cool. Okay, so yes, the recording will be available, and I'm going to do an intro and everything again. Thank you, everyone, for doing the polls. But before we get started, while people continue to trickle in, we're still growing a little bit. We're going to get started in 1 second. On February 14th, on Valentine's Day, we're doing a live watch party of the judging session for our recent animation challenge, which was incredible. It was using our AI motion capture tool, and people just did amazing things. So it was super fun. We had Peter France, Winbush, Landis Fields, who's a ILM Mandalorian virtual production guy, as our judges, and me, and it was super fun, and we're going to have a watch party. So that's on February 14th. 40K in prizes for that animation challenge. And we do those sorts of things all the time. In fact, we are doing a raffle for this webinar today. We're going to be giving out, I think, 5 face capture licenses and a pair of smart gloves. So stick around to the end for that. Okay, I think we should kind of get started here, because it looks like everyone's pretty much here. We've given them 5 minutes. That's good enough for me. So let's get started. So welcome, everyone. I'm Sam Lazarus, Creative Director for Rokoko, and welcome to this webinar. We're going to be talking about Previs, scene building. We're going to be using the free AI mocap tool, Rokoko Video, to make some custom mocap, and then we're going to be diving into Unreal to play around with actually making some scenes. So what are we doing today? What are we doing? Use the fancy transition here. Okay. So first, very briefly, I'm going to just introduce you to who we are as Rokoko. Maybe some people don't know who we are, so we're going to talk about who we are, and we're going to talk about what Previs is, because also some people might not know what that is, very briefly, because I think most people already have. But we're going to look at some examples and stuff, and talk about why you might want to do Previs and why you might want to use custom motion capture for your Previs, which can be useful, right? That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making the mocap we use. So after we do that brief intro, we're going to actually get in, we're going to make some motion capture using Rokoko Video live. We're going to process it, bring it down into Rokoko Studio, which is our free software where we'll be able to actually see the mocap. We'll export that out, and then we get to the fun stuff, which is Unreal. We're going to open up Unreal, and I've got a couple scenes and scenarios that we're going to be going over for Previs. They're pretty simple, but hopefully the ideas that we're talking about, you'll either find interesting, or maybe you could take with you in your Previs journey, and we're also going to be sending out this project file for free in an email after the webinar. So right, we're going to be exploring creative Previs. We're going to be going through it in real time. I'm going to be looking at the chat and like taking ideas. We have other polls for like, do we want the scene to be tense? Do we want the scene to be relaxed? And so we can have some back and forth with what we create in our scene. And it's really easy to go through and change things. So it'll be fun, hopefully. At the end, again, you have a Q&A button at the bottom of your UI. Feel free to put questions in all through the webinar. We have a fantastic team. Got to give a shout out full on to Barbara, Byron, Jonathan, Luke, and Nicholas from Rokoko. Wonderful Rokokians. They're going to be answering things for the Q&A all throughout the webinar, but they'll also be flagging questions that I will cover live at the end of the webinar. So put your Q&A in there, questions in there. We'll get to them at the end. We'll probably do Q&A for like 10 minutes, and then we'll just do the raffle, which is, again, really exciting. We have 5 face capture licenses and a pair of smart gloves we're going to be giving away to 5 people. So one of them gets smart gloves and a face capture license. We're going to do that at the end. And then if people are sticking around, we'll stick around, play around in Unreal, keep answering questions, and like take it by ear at the end. So that's what we're doing. Okay. So let's get into it, and I'll give you a brief explanation of who we are at Rokoko, right? So Rokoko, what are we? We are a motion capture company, and we make hardware and motion capture software. And our niche and our kind of whole identity is we've tried to make it as accessible as possible. So our tools are more affordable. We try to make them easier to use than a lot of the other options. And so that's who we are, right? Democratizing motion capture. That's our vibe. Our flagship product is the smartsuit Pro 2. You can see it on the screen. It's actually hanging up behind me here. This is a, you can get AAA mocap from this. This is our very advanced, this is our real to make motion capture suit, right? We also make smart gloves. So these are gloves that go with the suit, and they're very affordable, like the suit, and they're highly accurate. And so it means that you can get both hand and body motion capture using our tools. And there's so much emotion in the hands that it ends up being really important to have those smart gloves in the mix. So we make those. And finally, we have a facial motion capture solution. It uses an iPhone. And with these three things, right, body, hands, and face, you get what we call full performance capture. So that's motion capture that is the whole character, right? It's their body, it's their hands, and their face. So you can do everything with our tools. And that's kind of, that's at the high end of what we do. We also put a lot of focus on software, because the software is what helps bring all the mocap hardware, and actually create something, right? So we have a huge team that is focused on software specifically. And we have a free program called Rokoko Studio. You can download it right now. It comes with sample projects and stuff. And that is our software. And it also has a motion capture marketplace in there. So hardware and software for motion capture, right? Finally, in our software, on the software side, we have a free AI motion capture tool that just uses a webcam or pre-recorded cell phone video or any pre-recorded video, as long as it's static. And we just released this tool, and it's free. You use it through a browser, and then the mocap pops up in Rokoko Studio. So this is what we're going to be using today. And it's a very easy to use tool. It's very accessible, right? It's free. It's higher quality than a lot of the other free AI mocap tools out there. We think we're very proud of it. And so, that's what we do. That's kind of what we do. And if actually I can jump in, let's see if this works. Okay. I just want to show you, this is basically, because we're not going to be getting into the suit. So I just want to show you, this is actually Luke, who's in our chat right now. This is the suit in action, right? Full body, hands, and you can see our robot. This is our little play blast here. And then, this is with a metahuman. So this is with the facial motion capture integrated. So this is what we do. We make hardware and software for motion capture. And we also have a YouTube channel where you can check out more about all of this and all these specific tools. So, however, now let's talk about Previs, right? And again, I'm going to keep this brief because I think we just want to get into the fun stuff, right? And I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat. Make sure to put your questions in the Q&A, because I think our team is going to have an easier time. If you want a question answered by us, put it in the Q&A. Okay. So again, today, what are we doing today? We are going to be making motion capture, and then we're going to be bringing it into Unreal on characters and prevising a scene. So what is previs? Previs stands for pre-visualization, and it's something that is super common in film and gaming. It's really, it's the same thing as storyboarding, right? So it's back in the day, what they would do is they would lay out all the shots in drawn form so they could look at the flow of the film or the short, whatever they were making. Pre-visualization is just the animated version of that, right? And actually, I'm going to jump back into this because I want to show a video. And again, this is going to be known to a lot of you. This is a video from the third floor. So this is a company that actually focuses exclusively on previs. And you can see what they do, right? Previs is basically, it's a quick and dirty version of the shot, but at least you have something to react to. And now with all these real-time tools like in Unreal, you can set up a scene and then you can start playing around, right? You can start finding new ideas for how you might want that scene to be shot, how you might want that scene to be lit, what you might want the composition of that scene to be, right? And so this is the very high end, right? You can see that especially when you're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on a Star Wars movie, before you get the actors in, before you do everything, you want to make sure the timing is right, the vibe is right, right? But this also applies for any level of motion capture, of CG, right? All of our time is precious. And I think we all know that render time is not only your time, but it's your money, right? So the idea with Previs is that it can help you save time, money, and headache and get to where you want to be faster, right? Because you've gone through, you've iterated beforehand, and maybe through this process, you've even found some new ideas about how you want that scene to work, which are only possible, because you've been playing with the elements in real time. Okay, so again, let's summarize that, because I think this is something that a lot of you already know, but still I think it's valuable to summarize it. What are the advantages of Previs, right? Planning and organization. You can think ahead, you can realize what you need. Oh, I'm going to need a turtle model because a turtle is going to be a big part of the shot. We didn't realize it until we were framing the shot, right? So it allows you to plan ahead. It allows you to test and experiment. And again, it's not only about testing, it's about coming up with actual new ideas, because you are in the scene in real time and you can think, oh, what if I just did this? Or maybe even I've had things in Previs where I'll accidentally do something and like, oh, that's such an interesting shot, or that's such an interesting emotion that's evoking. And so testing and iterating can help you just get closer to the core of what you want to make, right? Without wasting time on high-res renders. This is a huge one, clear communication. So it's, oftentimes you will be maybe working in a team and you have to, I think we've all had the experience of trying to explain something that's in our head. And it's really difficult to explain to another human being who has their own artistic biases and all these things, what's in your head, right? And so if you can go in and rough out a quick previs, that's great. They have a starting place to understand where you're coming from, and it can clear up communication problems, right? Especially in big teams. Improving workflow, we've kind of talked about this already, but oh, I didn't realize we're going to need fog in this scene. Oh, I didn't realize we're going to need particles. It can kind of be an early warning system for issues you're going to be running into, right? Faster iterations, it allows you to play and iterate and come up with new ideas, right? This all feeds into better storytelling, because in the end, it's all about the emotion from the shots, and the flow of your shots and the timing and everything are going to be huge influences in that. So all of what we're talking about is ending up at better storytelling, right? Whether that's camera angles, lighting, pacing, all of it. And then finally, when it comes to motion capture, it might be good to do a rough previs, because it helps you the next time you go back to record with your actor, you realize things that you maybe missed, things that didn't work, things that we know that this is, we're going to have a shot that emerges from the rubble at this moment, so you need to have a reaction 20 seconds in. It helps you just identify potential problems in your shots and iterate. So we're seeing in the chat, iterations. Generally, that's what's so fantastic about our tools, in my opinion, is that they're all easy to use. Even our suit, I'm 60 seconds away from being in that suit and having it be on. Being able to iterate cheaply is fantastic. And Rokoko Video allows you to do that too. Our AI mocap tool, same thing, right? You can get in, you can make a bunch of things, play around, and it gets you to a better story. Okay. So that was quick, and I appreciate you for sticking with me through that. And again, I'm seeing a lot of questions. Put them in the Q&A if you want them answered by a team member. I'm kind of looking a little bit at the chat, but they're going to be answering things, while you guys are while we're in the middle of this, and I'll be answering things at the end. Okay, so let's make some motion capture. That's what we're here for. So we're going to be using Rokoko Video, which is our free AI motion capture tool. And in order to do that, we need to record some mocap. So I'm going to, we're going to go to rokokovideo.com. Sorry, it's not Rokoko, it's video.rokoko.com. I'll open it up here. And this is Rokoko Video. So this is our, you go to it in the browser. Again, it's free. You just need to sign up with a Rokoko ID. You just need an email, and you get access to Rokoko Video. And so here, if we want to create some motion capture, we will just go to create new scene. I'll call it webinar mocap, very original name. And then we are going to select local video file. You can see that it gives us these two options: record using device camera or upload a video. Because I'm live streaming, we're doing this webinar, I'm not going to be I can't have the browser use my camera while I'm in Zoom and everything. So we're going to be uploading a video that we record right now. And fortunately, we can record at the same time while we stream. So we're going to be uploading a local video file. And so we have, excuse me, a fantastic tutorial that we released that goes through how to use Rokoko Video. We're going to send out this webinar to everyone in the email tomorrow. We'll have links to our tutorials in that YouTube video. So if you want to know how to get the best results, go check out our video. But I'll just read some of the kind of the do's and don'ts, and I always forget them. So I'm going to read them from this list that I have here. To create the best setup to record using Rokoko Video, you need to be facing the camera starting. You want your face to be visible, so you don't want to be wearing like a mask or anything. Part of our tool, it needs to identify the human face as kind of to give it reference for where the rest of you is. You want the camera to be about hip height if you can. No distorted image or lens, so you don't want it to be super wide. You want it to be a standard FOV, right? On your cell phone, like a 1, not a 0.5. You don't want to be wearing black because it makes it hard for the image, the camera to tell how your limbs are rotating. You want good lighting. You want your full body to be in frame. You could use a higher frame rate. I usually just use 30. You want the camera to be level. And most importantly, you don't want the camera to be moving and you don't want the background to be moving. So those are huge. You need a static camera and then you don't want the background to be going crazy. So let's record something right now. And you're going to be treated to my terrible dance moves because that's what I always go to when I'm showing off this tool. So I'm going to turn off my background blur here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look so sexy anymore. And I'm going to stand up. So we're going to kind of move the camera up a little bit and we're going to record something. So I'm just going to record something very simple to get us started. And please chat, be gentle. You know, I'm not a, you know, actually, no, I'm proud of my dancing. Okay, here we go. Boom, we're done. Okay, we've suffered enough. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now finally I can turn my background blur back on. Oof, there we go. Now we're looking good again. So if we jump back here, just gonna adjust this camera, excuse me, everyone. A little bit better. Here, there we go. Like that. So now, you know, again, I just recorded into OBS. So we're going to go to select local video file. I'm going to go pull up my recording. And there are some limits in terms of, like, I try not to do things that are longer than a minute or two, although it actually doesn't, you know, matter what the, so there's a 300 megabyte upload limit, I believe. You generally should try not to upload really big video files just because it has to process, right? So I tend to do, you know, I'll do a minute or so. And again, you can upload videos of yourself or like stock videos that you find of like good dancers, which I'll do if I want good dancing. But yeah, here we go. And we can trim out what we want to see. So I could do multiple animations that I want mocap from in a single video clip and then just re-upload the same clip and trim out a different section. And I have 2 mocap clips. So I'll use the trimmers. I'll turn it into animation. And here we go. And so at this point, we can go ahead and open up Rokoko Studio, which is where this mocap is going to be delivered to, right? It's not accessible from the browser. You need to go into Rokoko Studio to grab your motion capture. And you can see it's processing. And we're going to see when we open up this mocap that this is a, you know, this is a free AI tool using a single camera. So it's important to understand the limitations of this tool. That being said, I've seen people feed in, you know, like professional dancers moving really quick and doing crazy things, or backflips I've seen fed in, or even like weird movements like sit-ups, and it handles it really well. So, but as well as it handles it, it will never handle it as well as like a mocap suit, right? So when we think about Rokoko Video, especially within the Rokoko ecosystem, it's the intro, it's free, It's limited quality, and you'll see it's limited. That being said, it'll still be very useful because it's free and we can do custom things, but it's not meant to be as a AAA mocap tool, right? That's our suit, and you can see it in here a little bit better, actually. Look at that dancing. Looks pretty good. Okay, so now we are going to open up Rokoko Studio. Can you make the open chat? So, oh, sorry. So panelists have not been able to write to you all. So panelists can chat with everyone. Boom. Okay. So now our panelists have access to the chat. Be careful, chat. Coming for you. So here we go. This is Rokoko Studio. This is our free software. You can go download this right now from our website, rokoko.com. It comes with sample scenes. You can export those sample scenes, use them for whatever. If you're interested in especially diving into the higher tier of mocap creation using a suit, jump in, test the workflow, but also download this because you can get access to Rokoko Video, which is awesome, and our motion capture library. Actually, I'm going to close this. I just want to show that off. So right here, motion library. This is our mocap marketplace, and if we just go to, like, what if I want to see dance, but I only want free stuff, baby. So you can buy things here, or we have a bunch of free assets in a bunch of different things. And you know, it's so great to have something that is not like from Mixamo. Mixamo is great, but you know, this has a little bit more individuality, and it's not something you've seen a million times, you know. So really awesome. Again, this is all in our free program, Rokoko Studio. But let's jump into the mocap we just made. So as you can see, it added that scene that we made in the browser, webinar mocap. We open that up, new recording. Look at this guy doing my dance. So you can see, I mean, excuse me, I'm a little sick. You can see that we had some wonkiness here with this arm. These are things that you could fix if you wanted. Again, we're doing Previs, so maybe I just want, you know, a character like dancing in the background of my club. And where this gets really interesting is when you have things like you need a specific reaction or you need specific timing. That's when it can be really useful to use custom motion capture, because it's not something that you're going to be able to get from Mixamo. Or like a superhero takeoff, like specific things. You know, for idling and things too, it can be really useful, especially because it's all generated by you. But you'll find little errors like this, right? That's natural. That will happen. One thing that's also neat about Rokoko Video is that you can see that we have foot locks for free. So this comes standard. Your feet are not moving around, which a lot of the other tools, your feet will kind of be floating around. It's kind of messy. We can also turn off that feature if we want and be floating. Sometimes that can give you interesting results as well. We're going to leave it on. So actually, because it is a lot of work to kind of go through and do this whole process from scratch, I've already gone through and recorded a bunch of different mocap that I've already imported into Unreal. And so if we open up this other project, this is all Rokoko Video. And here we have this conversation mocap that I did. And you can see for this one, what I did was basically I counted in my head 5 seconds of talking and then 5 seconds of listening. And then 5 seconds of talking. And now what we can do is we can just use this single clip of conversation and offset it. And we have two people talking back and forth, right? And it just allows us to be a little bit more efficient. So I've already gone in, I've done conversation. I've done this idle. We did some boxing. Just go through and show you these really quickly. And then a superhero flyaway. And we'll try to see how many we can get to. Boom. So, as I said, it's not the best quality. We could maybe get better quality if we redid it, but we don't need it to be high quality. This is for Previs. So once we've recorded our motion capture, we can go and we could actually go and select all of these at once if we wanted. And then we could go and export them all. So again, I've already done this, but if we were to, and we have a tutorial going through this whole process, right? That's why we're not going through it now, because we have tutorials on YouTube about this. So go there if you want to see this laid out kind of in a more full fashion. But we would go select them all, add them to the export list, as you can see here. We would export an FBX. We have options. You can do a BVH too, but we're going to Unreal, so it's going to be an FBX. We want to include the body mesh because we're going to Unreal, and Unreal needs a mesh to be attached when you're importing FBX animation for some reason. For skeleton preset, I chose Mixamo, and then I changed the rest pose to a T pose. We want everything to be in a T pose, and I'll explain that when we get there. And then for more settings, I just did frame rate at 30 and I hit export. Boom, and that's it. That's all of our mocap out and ready to go. So at this point, we can jump into Unreal and really start getting into our scene and doing previs. So I'm going to close this down. I've already exported all of this out. In the meantime, hopefully, I'm going to assume this is all working and you guys can see everything, which I'm not seeing the chat freak out too much about. Let me just make this bigger so I can see that chat still. Okay, looks good. So now we are going to open up Unreal. And again, we're going to be giving out this project file for free. It's not going to include 2 of the scenes, but it will include this sci-fi hallway and all these Mixamo characters and all this mocap. And so we're going to open it up essentially as you would, I'm starting at the same point that you would be if you were to open up this scene. This is exactly what you're going to get. I'm just going to tilt this down a little bit. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm going to delete this guy. So, okay, here we go. We've got a typical Unreal scene. This is a free scene, and that's why we can give this away for free. This is on the marketplace, the Unreal marketplace. It's called Sci-Fi Hallway. It's actually epic content. Looks super cool. Pretty basic. It's a sci-fi hallway. If the screen is stuttering, let us know, but also that might be a function of Zoom. In the recording we're going to put up on YouTube, it should be playing very smoothly. Okay, so I've got this cool hallway scene. And actually now we're going to let's launch a poll. So while we go in the background, oh no, mocap end poll, that was still running, mocap experience, choosing an atmosphere, launch poll. So the first thing we're going to be doing is doing a conversation scene. What is the atmosphere of this conversation? This is going to be where it's going to get kind of fun. Yeah, sorry if the Unreal feed is lowering it might be a little laggy. And I could try, actually, let me stop sharing and I'm going to try just to make sure that it's optimized for video. Sorry, it wasn't doing that. So I'll do that and maybe this will be a little bit better. Okay. And hopefully you can still see me and everything is working fine. Okay, so we got the poll running. And I'm going to let that run and we'll come back to it in a minute, because first we just need to get our mocap on some characters. So again, this is the free project file you're going to get. If we open up the content browser here, I dock it in my layout. It's a little bit messy because this sci-fi scene is in here, but in here you can see we have characters and we have mocap folders. And in this character folder, I've already gone in, added 4 Mixamo characters, and I've also added IK rigs. So if we have these Mixamo characters, here's one. And we just recently released a tutorial on how to do retargeting in Unreal Engine. So I've already gone through and done some of this, but hopefully, but you can always go to that video. It's a full retargeting video. It goes through this whole process. I just didn't want to spend this time on stream setting up the retargeting, because when you do retargeting in any program, what you need to do is you need to help the software out. But retargeting is the act of taking motion capture animation and transferring that onto a character, right? And the software does not inherently know, hey, I need to, this is the right bone of my mocap, the right arm bone. This is the right arm bone of my character. It doesn't know that. So you have to go in and tell the software, hey, this is the right arm bone of my mocap. This is the right arm bone of my character. This is the right hand of my mocap. This is the right hand of my character, right? When I say retarget the animation, now you know which bone matches with which, right? Excuse me. So that's the process of retargeting. You need to tell the software which bone is which. And in Unreal Engine now, one way that you can do that is using these IK chains in the IK retargeter. So what I've gone through and already done for all these characters in the project file you will get is I've created these bone chains, and you can see that I have one for the spine. And let's delete this one and recreate it. So spine, if I wanted to recreate the spine bone chain, I would select the first spine bone, the last spine bone, right click, new retarget chain from selected bones. I'm just going to call it spine. I don't need an IK goal. We're not going to get into that today. And here I go. Now I've got this IK chain. And when I do this for my mocap as well, now Unreal knows, okay, this is the spine of the character. This is the spine of the mocap. It's really easy for me to put the mocap in the right place, right? So I'm going to hit save. So I've already gone in and made these IK rigs for not only our characters, but if we go to mocap, you can see I've got my 4 mocap takes and folders here. Here's the conversation. If we were to open up the anim, look at this. This is our mocap, right? It imported just fine. But I've also already made the IK rig, and you can see it has corresponding, they all are named the same, all the chains, right? Spine, left arm, head. And that's when I retarget it, it's just these names need to be the same between the mocap and the character, right? So again, that's a little bit of word vomit. I didn't want to do this all in front of you, so I've already gone through and done some of it. Okay, so once we've created our IK rigs for our mocap and our character, now it's really easy. So we can just go to animation, IK rig, IK retargeter. And we're going to get this pop-up, and it says pick IK rig to copy animation from. So we're doing a conversation scene first, right? So we want to pick our animation from mocap convo. This is the IK rig I did for the motion capture. And we're going to call this boy convo, because this is going to be the sci-fi boy character. And we can open up that asset. So that was an IK retargeter asset. So here we are in the asset, and you can see source up here. This is my mocap. You can play through the mocap. Look at that, it's playing. But what we can do is under target, now we can select an IK rig target. And so I've got sci-fi boy here. I'll select sci-fi boy. I can offset this a little bit. And because this is already all set up, I just need to click on the animation and it will work. So there we go. Not only can we do that, everything is set up, right? So I can, no, I want the sci-fi girl. Okay. Sci-fi girl. No, I want the wrestler, or I want some background people maybe. And we're going to do this in this scene. So I just want like a mannequin, like a nothing person. There we go. We can put the idle one on this guy. So this is, it's pretty easy to do retargeting now in Unreal. And again, we have tutorials that go through all of that. We're not going to do that. We want to look at the previs side of it, right? So we're going to select sci-fi boy, select this animation, and with this selected, we're going to go to export selected animations. In the main folder, I'm just going to call this boy. I'm going to call it boy convo underscore as the prefix. Export. What do we got now? We got our character with mocap on it, right? Boom, easy. Let's delete him. Let's make another one really quick. Let's not talk through it and jabber through it like I want to do this time. We're going to make the girl now. Same mocap convo. We're going to call it girl convo. Open it up. Target is going to be the IK sci-fi girl. I might increase her scale a little bit just for fun. Make it match a little bit better. this is all already rigged up, ready to go, right? So convo, same thing. Export selected animations. Girl convo is the prefix. And hit export. Okay, so I'm actually also going to hold on. So now we've got two things. I just need two more. We're gonna go live on YouTube too. Boom, because we're maxed out, baby. We're maxed out of people. Public, easy previs, full res. Go live. Okay, we're live on YouTube now, I guess, as well. Cool. Yeah, I know it's being, yeah, got it. Okay. So there we go. Now we've got both our boy and girl. So let's add them to the scene right here. And I'm just gonna make her a little bit bigger. And at this point, you know, if we hit play, again, these are animations, right? And they are the same animation on our character, on two different characters, right? So how do we get this to be, you know, a little bit more useful? Okay, so now let's go and let's actually create a level sequence. So I'm going to add level sequence. We're going to call this conversation previs. Save. And now we have a sequencer panel open, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to go and I'm going to grab my boy. I'm going to go and grab my girl, drag them into my sequencer. For the animation, I'm going to add the boy's animation. I'm going to add the girl's animation. Now, if we play in sequencer, that's pretty cool. Now we got something that is controllable. We don't have to hit the play button, you know, to see this. This looks great. And then what we can also do is, right, so this is the listening portion. So let's take the boy, and instead of having him listen, this is when he starts talking. So now we have one character talking, and then the other character starts talking, right? And let's change the, no, that looks good, actually, right here. But what we can do is we can grab these, right? We can rotate them around. We can move them into position here a little bit better. I don't care that like they're weirdly rotated. We could maybe fix that sort of thing, but I just don't care, right? This is previs. We do not care. The most important thing with previs is that you get it done. That you have something to react to. It does not matter on quality. And that's one of the hardest things I think for artists to do, right? Is to be like, I just need to bust this out. And it just needs to be, I need to be able to look at something. It doesn't need to be nice. Perfectionist in most of us will say, hey, I want this to be like cool looking. That's not the goal with previs. We want to get something out there. So we just have something to react to. Because now what we can start doing is, you know, we can in real time start thinking about our shots. So let's go and, okay, this is our poll here. We're going to end the poll, share results. Okay, so we have a mixture of scary horror, tense thriller, and funny comedy. So let's do all of those. So let's start with tense thriller. So I'm making a tense thriller. What are some of those? Ooh, what's that? Might have to re-add him or something. Okay, I don't know. So tense thriller conversation. So, you know, this is the advantage of doing live previs, because you can start thinking about how your shots will serve in the emotion of the scene, right? So if it's a tense scene, and now what we can do actually is let's add a camera to this. Boom. Cine camera actor, and I can go and change my perspective to the camera. And I'm going to, on the camera, go to lens settings. Oh, no, I'm going to go to focus settings, excuse me. And I'm going to just no focus at all, because we just want the full, we just want the full scene in view. And now we can start animating our scene. So if this is a tense scene, maybe we want to start with like you're eavesdropping, right? That is a pretty typical thing when you have a tense situation. So maybe we want it to be like, or what could we do? We need to go and find, okay, here we go. Look at this. So this is like, oh, it's tense, right? We're peeking out. We are the audience. And now you're just hearing my like stream of consciousness, right? And this is the advantage of Previs. It allows you to start just playing around and thinking about things. So I've got a camera in the scene. I want to add it in here, right? Let's go add our camera. I'm just going to drag it in. And here, now we can start doing some animation on our camera. So I'm going to go and under transform on our camera, if I add a keyframe here, and then I turn on auto keying. So this is auto keying. So basically now, anytime I move the camera, it will create a keyframe if there's already a keyframe on the track. So I have a keyframe at the beginning. This is the opening to our scene. I like to turn my camera speed way down when I'm doing things like this. And we're out here. Actually, I think it should end like right there. So you can see it created a keyframe automatically. Jump back to our first keyframe. Maybe we want to be a little bit more hidden. And we have our first shot, right? So, and this is Previs. We're moving fast. We're just iterating, right? We're going to do 3 different versions of the scene. So we need to just keep moving. I don't care having multiple cameras or whatever. I'm keeping it easy. What I like to do is go to my end of my keyframe, go forward 1 frame, move the camera. Okay, so this is like, that was our intro, and this is a tense scene, right? And so because it's tense, it's like we're close up on things. Maybe it would be like a shot of just the mouth, like, because it's a secret, right? This is a secret kind of conversation that we're like eavesdropping in, right? So again, it created a keyframe automatically for me. So she's moving around a lot. So actually, you know what? Maybe what we'll do is for this second shot, we'll do it like this, maybe. So kind of, again, it's tense, right? We are the underdog. We are observing something. So we're underneath them, right? And this all adds to the emotion of the scene. Or maybe it doesn't, but it allows me to go in and play around with a couple of ideas that I have, right? So let's just do that. Again, auto keying, go forward 1 frame. Now she's kind of not moving as much. So this is like focus on her mouth. I don't know. Something like this. And we're going to have to go in and change some of the interpolation. So right now this is on Bezier. We're going to need to make this into linear, but as soon as you do, we'll see that it'll be working. And so that's her mouth. Then we need his reaction, right? So let's go to this keyframe, forward 1 frame. Now he's having a reaction. He's angry. I don't know. Maybe it's like this. Who knows? We're playing, right? It doesn't matter. Close. And then let's go and do our finisher of the shot. I really want to play with this. This is really cool, right? It's like fading into the background here. So there we go. They're fighting. There we go. So if we go and we select all these keyframes, right click on them, they're set to cubic right now. We want them to be linear, baby. Linear is what you always want when you're using your camera. You don't want Bezier moves. When you cut into a shot, unless it's very specific, and it's fine if it's specific, but I see a lot of issues with cameras that are set to Bezier automatically. And that's no good because, oh, interesting. We're getting some very bizarre results here. So we might just need to do like multiple cameras or something. Oh no, there's a couple. It's not all linear. Yo. Linear. Why are you not linear? Are you not linear? Linear. Linear. We might have to go in and do it manually, keyframe it manually, which we can do. Let's go in and just keyframe this manually. Do the same thing. So start here, right? Keyframe. I don't know what it's doing. They're talking, right? Keyframe, forward 1 frame. I'm just going kind of reckless now. Keyframe, keyframe, forward 1 frame. Keyframe. Keyframe. Make these linear now. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. So you might just need to maybe don't use auto key here. Last time I used auto key, it worked fine, but of course I'm in a live stream and it's being weird. But you can start to see how if you were playing with music, you're just doing maybe a screen record of this, and you start playing with the timing, and then actually let's go and let's do our final shot, which I thought was cool. Of them like arguing in the office. Keyframe. Keyframe, and always make sure to go in and make these linear again, because we want linear shots. And there we go. We have a kind of a tense scene. So let's do funny and comedy now, right? Let's do another one. I take this camera and I'm just going to move it out of the way, and we'll add in another camera. Let's create a new camera. And let's do something that's a little bit more comedy this time. So we'll add this new camera into our scene. Boom. And you can see, here we go. And we can do something that's a little bit more like a comedy thing. Maybe it has a wider angle, and maybe it's kind of more typical. Like we open and we'll turn off the lens settings. We'll turn off this. Disable the autofocus. And this is like more of like a sitcom-y type vibe. So camera 1, transform. And this is like more typical what you'd find in a conversation between two people, right? Boom. Boom. So this is kind of, more of a comedy vibe, maybe. Again, we would need to go in and make this linear or more standard, at least, conversation, right? This isn't trying to really convey emotion. This is a lot more neutral. This is what we're used to as an audience. If it's like a goofy comedy, we can also always do things like, maybe this isn't for a comedy, but we could also go in, add a new camera. And if I go and drag it down on the boy and parent it to the head, will this work? I'm not sure. Hold on, we might. Oh, I would need to go and position it. Hold on. So we could go and do something like this. This is like a POV shot. And we'll turn off this again. And maybe we would up the under lens. Where is the FOV? 35, make this really wide, right? And now we have like a POV shot. And this isn't probably good for funny comedy, but again, the point is this is allowing us to really play around with the shots and the vibes of the scene, and it could save us a ton of time if we went in and did this in advance of the final render, right? So if we wanted to also even, let's go and add in some people in the background. I'm going to delete a couple of these cameras because now, of course, it's getting a little crazy. Yeah, we'll keep that camera. Camera 2. Our basic camera. Let's actually go in and add a couple more animations here. So we'll go here, forward 1 frame. we're just chatting. We're just chatting. Add a keyframe. The keyframe. Make sure it's all linear. Didn't like that. I don't know why. Keyframe. Yeah. Here we go. But let's say we wanted to add some more to this, and it's really easy to do, right? We just want some like idling characters in the background, right? So we would go create a new IK retargeter. Boom. We want to grab the idle animation. We'll call this idle BG, idle background. We are going to add in this Manny character. So this is like a stand-in of just could be anything, right? We have our idle, easy, export selected animation, call this idle BG, export, like easy, keep moving, right? Go into sequencer. Actually, let's exit this camera and let's add a couple of these Mannies in here. Boom. Right. Whatever. We're going to go into our sequencer. Gonna make it a little bit more organized. Add these guys in. Add their animations. And this is also like I am I am not the most advanced Unreal user, so this is it might not be the best of what you're seeing, but here we go. Let's go to camera 1. And now we've got like some background players, right? Let's move him. He's just minding his own business, right? He's just over here. He's like right there. And so this is like another awesome way to say, okay, how many people do I need in the scene? Do I want people in the background? What's the vibe? Does that change, or like something like this for our first shot where it was tense. Camera 1. Oh, right. I moved it. Hold on. Now, or I can move maybe some of these guys so that they're like a little bit more. Ooh, now I'm really eavesdropping, right? Ooh. Maybe like put it right there. Something like that. We go to, you can see his butt. That's fun. Maybe not his butt. Let's eject and let's turn his butt. So it's more like that. Let's move this guy. So this is just endless. You can imagine again, like this whole goal, right, is does this help you think about your scenes a little bit? And I think it does. I think it can have a huge impact. What's really hard, I think, for most artists is having the discipline to go in and do this sort of thing, because it's fun, but it's also like, I personally want to get in. I just want to start making cool stuff, right? I just want to be like making stuff. And so to have a step where it's previs, I always reacted against. And I cannot tell you how many times I've regretted not going in and being like, maybe I should have just roughed out the timing. Like, before I spent all this time and effort, I rendered out 2,500 frames, over 2 nights for some reason. And the timing doesn't work, or the emotion is all off. And so going through and doing something like this can save you a lot of heartache in the end. Okay, so let's now go into the boxing arena and play around with that a little bit. So I'm going to save all this. Don't worry, I'm going to be giving you a clean project file. It's not going to actually include the boxing stuff, unfortunately, because this is not a free asset, but the Sci-Fi Hallway is a free asset. So I've got this boxing ring right here, and I'm actually going to get rid of this HDRI backdrop. I don't even want it. I don't even want it. Kill it. And actually, no, don't kill it yet because we need it to see. I can't see. There we go. Okay, so let's add some boxers, into here and do a little boxing scene. And this time we can play maybe a little bit with like lighting, which I think would be interesting. So we're going to create some boxing, right? And the way we do that is to create a new IK retargeter, animation, IK retargeter. Where do we want to pick the mocap from? Boxing. Call this boxing. Boy. Double click it. We've got our, it's not really a boxing character. It's more of a luchador, but it's okay. He's a wrestler. That's what I'm calling him. I mean, he's a wrestler. There we go. He's kind of a boxer. But here we have some basic boxing mocap, right, that I did using Rokoko video. So let's grab this. Let's export it out. Let's call this boxing. Prefix, export. There we go. Now, what can we do, right? We can go and put some put two guys in here. And in fact, this time I'm not even going to create a second one. I'm just going to create two of them. We're going to create a new level sequence. We're going to call this boxing. Save. These two sillies, I'm going to grab the animation for. I might offset one a little bit, right? Same kind of thing again. Now we've got two characters from a single animation. And let's jack up our HDRI backdrop because I can't see. Not that we necessarily need it to see, but looking pretty good. Okay, so now let's play with like some lighting. And I'm going to stop sharing this poll for a second. And let's say we're going to save the last poll for now. But yeah, let's do some lighting. So I like to use rectangular lights. So I'm going to go find a rect light. And again, you could get way more advanced with your lighting. I'm doing this quick and dirty. This is previs, right? The enemy is perfection of previs. We do not want it to be perfect. We want it to be fast. We want it to just happen because that's going to allow us to get reactions, whether that's from the rest of our team, whether that's from ourselves, because seeing it in motion just completely changes the way we feel about it. Here we go. So we have this top light, which I thought was really cool, right? We probably want this. And let me actually, while they do this, let's just make them fight each other a little bit better. Oh, I'm fighting, right? So here I was thinking what could be, what I really like to do sometimes is I build in a bunch of lights. So let's go and let's just grab, actually, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab this guy. If I hold down Alt, I can create a new one. And let's do a couple things. I'm going to set up, and again, this isn't probably the best way to do lighting in Unreal. I encourage you to go check out better like Unreal courses because I am a noob still when it comes to Unreal. So this might look pretty ugly to you, but again, it doesn't really matter because I just want to make something. So this is going to be a standard light setup. We got our key. We got a little bit of fill. Let's bring down our top a little bit too. And then we got to do a backlight, baby. That is the most important thing I find. So I don't know if this is actually going to give us the effect that we want really with this backlight, but we'll see. Yeah, no, it is. It is. That's cool. So this is what I really like to do when I'm playing with lights. And we're going to talk about, this is we're talking about previs for lighting. And even, what we can even do is I'm going to add in a camera while we do this. So let's add in a camera, cinematic camera, drag it in to sequencer. Oh God, where am I? Try and find the scene. Okay, there we are. Okay, here's our camera. And let's say that we got seats here. Are you kidding me? Look at how sexy this is. Okay, we got our camera. We're going to go to frame 1. We're going to set a keyframe on the transform, baby. And then go to the end. And set another keyframe. And this is what I mean by these stupid Bezier curves on most camera shots that I see. I see this so much in whether it's portfolios or finished films, usually not finished films, but portfolios, I see this so often. Shots like this. So they did a camera move and then they forgot to change the interpolation. And what that means is you end up with something that's moving slowly, and then it picks up speed, and then it slows down. And that can be really nice, again, if it's a specific thing. But usually the more cinematic thing is just to make it linear. We want it moving at a constant rate the whole time. So now we have this happening, right? And so this is really cool. This is just going to play. It's going to continue playing. How do we set looping? Oh, I forget. How do I do looping? Bother. No looping. Looping. Okay, so now we have this scene. And what I like to do is just turn off all the lights and start playing around like this. What is it like with just this light? Like, that's a pretty interesting vibe. One thing I often find, and we could add a post-processing volume because it seems to be, it's adjusting the brightness automatically. But what I often find, here's the backlight. Like, this is one of the coolest things to do, I think, because it just shows you, I mean, backlit things just look so cool. And to be able to move this all in real time, maybe it's like this. Okay, I kind of like that, right? I like a little light on his face. Okay, let's bring back our main light. That's in the top light. And because this is just playing live, right? So it makes it so much fun to play around with this stuff in real time, right? Okay, let's turn off the backlight. And again, now we just had this, maybe we like want it to animate up over time. Maybe we just want a little bit, maybe we want a lot. Again, maybe we like having a little top light. And then I like having my fill, but that's a little bit too, my key, but that's a little too much. So bring that down. And then I like the backlights, but I don't need the fill light. So, and you could play with this a million ways, right? You could have lights that are moving. You could do anything. And because this is playing in real time, it just makes it so easy to manipulate these things while we go. And you can see how huge of a difference it makes. Maybe we need a light, and I think we do. There's not enough happening. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to break out of this camera here. But I want some, like, we got seats back here. Let's get some seats in the mix. Oh, is this turned off? Or is it too far? Did I take it? Oh, I took it way too far. Oops. There we go. I want some seats. I want to see some stuff in the background here. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I want a little bit less. Ooh, like that. And or maybe, and then, so obviously you can see I'm getting carried away with this, right? It's really fun. Excuse me, I'm sick. So sorry. But yeah, it's really fun. And this is just a great way, to think about lighting. And you could do this with static characters, right? This is an example, like what I would use Rokoko video for more specifically is, you can see at the end here, we have like, I've got like a boom, like an uppercut. If I wanted to, I would use Rokoko video if I had something specific that I wanted to see, right? Or even if I just wanted it to be all from me. Sometimes I'm making a project and, it's great to use an asset that you find or something. That's fine. But sometimes I want it to be like the whole scene was made from me, right? And this allows you to do this. And you don't need a lot of detail. Well, you could go in and get really good boxing mocap data from Rokoko Video. It's just going to take more time. When I'm talking about previs, I don't care about the quality, right? I just want something to react to. And while we're reacting, you know what I really need out of this? Is this light off? Why is it have an arrow? But I need a little light on my seats here, baby. Just a little bit of light. How much? A tiny bit. 0.05. Ooh, a little on the spec. 1. Oh, no, that's way too much. 0.5. Ooh, 0.1. There we go. Completely different scene. So this is a really fun way I find. And this also goes for pretty much any 3D software. This is a great way to do it. Set up a bunch of lights and just start turning them on and off, because you start seeing some emotional ideas that can come from it that you never would have had time for or thought about. In the end, maybe you don't want any lights. It's just from the top, right? Add a little fog, add a little mist, and it's got this cool, like a cone of light over them. Really awesome. Okay, so how are we doing on time? It's been about an hour. I kind of think we should take some questions, maybe do the raffle. And then we can get back into this stuff a little bit later, maybe. Okay, so let's go in and see how the Q&A. That's awesome, Rickard. Okay, I'm looking at the chat in the first time for a while, and it's really thank you guys for participating so much in the chat. It's awesome. Had so many things. Okay, yes, drink water. Thank you, Kana. So let's go through. We're gonna do 10 minutes of Q&A, and then we are going to do the raffle really quick. And then we'll get back into Q&A and just keep answering questions, and I'll just look at the chat a little bit more. And I have another scene with that superhero takeoff, which we could do, and we could kind of think about composition in that one, right? How would we want to show that? And we can keyframe the takeoff, right? So we can have a superhero launching into the air. Okay, so I'm going to go through by most upvotes the open Q&A, and then we'll get into some raffling. So is there a free plugin for Blender? There is a free plugin for Blender. It's fantastic. If you type in Blender Rokoko or go to our YouTube channel, we have a whole tutorial on how to find it, how to get it set up, and it's great. We just released a retargeting tutorial for Blender. Same thing from Alberto and Lorano. Yep, there is. Check our YouTube. We just dropped it. We would do the same thing for iClone from Alex Lugo, wanting one of these sorts of things for iClone. We did the same thing for iClone. Matthew Warner, can you explain how to use IK goals in the retargeter? So I know I sound like a broken record, but we did just release a tutorial. I mean, I'll go through it in a second after we get through Q&A live, maybe. But I went through how to use IK goals in the tutorial. They're not as useful as you'd want, maybe. I mean, they can be, but they're not like the control rig, right? I wish you could animate them. You can't animate IK goals. You can use them for other things, but they're useful. And we cover all that in the Unreal tutorial that we dropped about a week ago. From Johnny Lee, is there a limitation on speed of movement if the body part is blurred due to motion? Will Rokoko Video be able to pick that up? Great question. It will throw it for a loop, so that you can use a higher frame rate. You can use a higher shutter speed, maybe. But yeah, you don't want motion blur, right? Ideally. And so what you can also do that's kind of a hack for that, and I hope this is okay, the way that I want to play this in the background so it's not boring for, okay, good. The hack is to move slowly, right? So you're doing kung fu moves that are going to be sped up, but like you just do them slow and then you speed it up in post. So yes, blurry, you need it to be sharp as possible. That might mean faking it, going slow, or it might mean using a higher frame rate camera and uploading that instead, which Rokoko Video can totally take. How do you do sudden, impactful, aggressive if all the movements affect the mocap? Video scene, I suppose. Okay. Do slow and steady moves. Yeah, I think it really depends. This is from Milos. Basically the same question. Do you do fast-paced moves or slow moves better? What I have found, honestly, is that when I tend to do it, when I act for Rokoko video, I've got this idea in my head that it's going to be more limited, which it will be. But that means that I move kind of like easier, right? I'm like, I don't want to give the computer a hard time. So I'll move like this and I'll do that. I think when you do not baby Rokoko video, it actually works better. So I would upload, and the great thing is it's free, it's iterative, right? You just upload it and see what you get. I actually think people who are uploading faster, more intentional, less like babying the mocap system moves, you get better results. So, but there's only one way to find out. So play with it. It's free. There's really no excuse. I mean, it's fun. So I think it's fun. It's also like, I've had fun like playing with it with like my niece, because it's like something that she can do that's fun. Then she gets to see herself, and it doesn't matter that it's not perfect. It's just kind of fun. Milos, a lot of questions. Sorry. No black clothing, nothing on head. Does the white behave best? If I was going to get the best, Milos, and I think, this is a tool that like we are still testing. For the best result, I would wear a textured t-shirt or something like that. And then you want contrast from the background. So like, I think a textured shirt that is not black, where it can see how it's moving and how it's rotating, right, is going to be better. That being said, normally what I use is a white t-shirt and like not black pants, and it's fine. So I honestly don't know what the absolute best would be, because we're still a few months out from releasing this, and we're gonna need to have a long time to understand what's really the best, because we just need people to test it. Thomas, for the instant video upload to animation, do you mind sharing what software to perform pose estimation? I'm not sure, Thomas, but if you were to go on the Discord, I'm sure someone could help you out. I know there's a bunch of different things, and I think we use something that's out there. I'm not entirely sure about that. Sorry. Does Rokoko have terms against NSFW content? I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe someone on our team can answer that, or you can go to the Discord to find out, or you could just try uploading things and see if it worked. I don't know. That's a great question. For the, I don't know what sort of NSFW content you're thinking about uploading, but for Rokoko video to work best, you want a single person in the scene. You want their entire body to be in the shot. So I don't know, have fun testing that. Thanks for the webinar from Xavier. Thank you for coming, Xavier. Not sure if you covered this, but how intuitive is it to replace mocap animation to the other one after retargeting? Or does it need to be retargeted again? It does need to be retargeted again, but once you set up these IK rigs, if you click away from Unreal, it starts being weird. But once you set up these IK rigs for each character, and again, we have a whole tutorial that goes through this in the most recent Unreal retargeting tutorial. Once you set these up in the IK retargeter, it all does it for you. So you can, it's really easy to hot swap them out, right? You just select a new one. Even if that means creating a new IK retargeter asset, it's like, 5 seconds, right? Go, animation, IK rig, IK retargeter. I want superhero fly, open it up, put it on a person, mannequin, play. It's pretty quick. Superhero. Woo! Don't save. Delete. Yeah. What else we got? Damien. I remember supporting our motion capture team when doing CG loads of motion capture. Question is, does the software flavor of motion capture nowadays grab some more active scenes instead of jumping? So, or can we capture these, including fly on wires and Acrobat? So, our high-end mocap solution. Hey, did I say you could stop? No. Our high-end mocap solution, our suit, can totally do all those things. Rokoko video, if you were to get someone on wires, remember the camera needs to be static. the background needs to be static. So there's some limitations for Rokoko video. But that being said, you can always try it, right? Go find some footage and upload it, and it just works. You know, it's fun. A lot of people really excited to see the suit. So we want to get in the suit. Okay, let's do this. Let's do some let's do some raffling. Okay, I don't think they're ready for raffling. Send me those raffle. Who won, Nicholas? And then we'll do raffles, and then I'll get in the suit, and I'll show you the suit start to finish, even though this is a Rokoko video webinar, and we can check that out because it is a lot of fun. And I'm going to just answer. Oh, we got the raffle winners. Okay, last question before we do that. Excuse me. How would you go about recommending the Rokoko Smart Suit Pro 2 for floor performance, like rolling around or moving while lying? Is there a huge risk to damage the sensors? Are there certain guidelines? I'm asking because we're staging a product where expressive dancing will maybe take place on the ground. It's a great question. So the short answer is kind of no, it won't perform well. Rokoko, our tools, it's kind of one of the major limitations is that the software really needs to understand, where your feet are. You know what? Let's open up this one again. Oh God, I'm in the wrong map. I'm in the wrong map. But yeah, so our algorithm really needs to understand where your feet are. So when you are doing things like crawling or rolling around on the ground, it can have a real effect on the mocap. There's ways around it. You can turn off that function and kind of like, I'll show this in a second, I guess. But you can turn off that function so that your hips are locked into place in the center. You're not translating through space anymore, but you're also not messing up the mocap. So you could hand key the location of the character. But no, that's like one of the limitations. And I always love pointing out limitations in our suit because everything has limitations and there is no tool that is perfect for every situation. Absolutely, that includes our tool. And when I am looking for companies that I trust, I gotta say, for me, number one thing is like, are they honest about the limitations of the tools? There are limitations with our tools. You can get slight magnetic interference. This rolling around on the ground thing can be a problem. But all that being said, like, I totally, our tool is fantastic. You can get absolutely AAA content out of it and like not difficultly. So I think it's like, I love pointing out the limitations, but I also, I try to caution people and be like, well, it might require like 5 minutes of work, but for that 5 minutes, you get a perfect result that would never have been capable and you didn't have to spend $10,000. So there's different tools. Okay, let's do some raffling. And then we will jump into the suit. The suit is very durable as well. Yeah, so you wouldn't want to maybe do it for yourself on the ground, like put out pads, but we have people rolling around. And if you do ever have a problem, we replace sensors and stuff all the time if people have issues. So you can always get a replacement. But no, the new suit especially is more durable than the last one. Okay, so let's do some raffling. Quick raffling. So again, thank you everyone for coming. This was really fantastic. Hopefully it was fun and informative. I had a lot of fun, and we'll get into the suit in a second. But yeah, this was great. We do this all the time. We do raffles. We do, contests and things. And our last one, for example, was using Rokoko video, so it was free. Everyone could participate, and so if you're interested in getting a suit, pay attention to our socials. We do discounts all the time. We do raffles, we do giveaways. Right now, Clint's new, Clinton Jones's new animation challenge, we're giving away 3 suits, I think, for that. So there are places to kind of pay attention to our socials if you want to win some stuff, because we do this pretty often. So, okay, raffle time. Again, thank you for coming. The winner of the smart gloves plus the face capture license is going to be Kyle Butcher, Kyle Butcher, Bucher. Congratulations, Kyle. Thanks for coming. Thanks for signing up. It was lovely to have you, and congratulations. We'll be getting in contact with you over your email that you used to sign up. So you are winning smart gloves and face capture license. And we are also giving away 4 face capture licenses. And so you can use this with any iPhone. And this is a great way to like add, if you want to use our free mocap tool for the body, you could always create some facial motion capture, add that to the character. It's really fun to play around with our face mocap. And again, you only need an iPhone. So for most people, it's accessible. And we're going to be giving out 4 licenses to some people. Congratulations. Those people are, I'm so sorry for butchering names, Karina Kraus, Sean Godsey, Khaled Abdelatif. I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. And Michelle Souza Henry. I don't know how it's pronounced. Congratulations to Karina, Sean, Khaled, Michelle. We're going to be sending you some licenses for some face capture. So again, we do this all the time. Stick around if you want to see me jump into the suit. And thank you to everyone else, but yeah, let's keep going. So I'll keep trying to answer questions too. And our team is still answering things in the Q&A. Okay, let me jump back to Sam's circle, and I'm going to go get my suit, and I'll keep trying to answer things right now. Jabari, best practices for recording lying down. I try to keep my feet on the ground, at least with the suit. With Rokoko video, it's fine. You kind of just you feed it and maybe it works or maybe it doesn't. But with our suit, if I'm lying on the ground, if my feet are flat on the ground, I will stay still, and I can always fix the legs in post. Okay. Let's get in a suit here. Let's do it. I'm going to kick this off. Somebody start the timer. Okay, so here's our SmartSuit Pro 2. We're going to hop in and get this going. So yeah, start the timer. So this is from, suit off. Usually I don't wear like my pants like I'm wearing right now. I just wear like athletic shorts, or you can wear yoga pants or tights or something. But it does fit over my clothes. Yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit bunchy, which maybe you don't want. Yeah. There we go. Put the arms on. Bada boom, a bada bing. And zip up, and that's it. There we go. I'm going to put my gloves on too. Put on my head sensor. And looking pretty good. You know what? And before we actually get into this, I do kind of want to just talk about what we did today. Let's just go over the key takeaways of what we've done. And then people who want to jump can jump. Otherwise, we're going to get into the suit. What did we learn? Right? Previs can save you time, money, and headache. It's an invaluable tool. It helps you identify problems with your workflow or with your idea that maybe you didn't understand before you saw it moving, right? And I think it's really valuable, especially for projects which are going to be more serious, right? You have a client, you don't want to waste their time, you don't want to waste your time. Spending an afternoon doing a quick previs, using Rokoko video or not, can be great. So I think hopefully that we got that across. Rokoko video can come in handy though if you have custom scenes that you want to try and do. You can't find someone drinking tea on Mixamo and So you want to do that yourself. So you can hop in, you can make some mocap using Rokoko Video. It's all free. It's easy to do. And then you can use that instead for your previs. And right, Rokoko Video is accessible to me and free. So motion capture, everyone. Somebody signed in our Zoom account. So looks like people are still here. Sound. Okay, I think sound should be working again. Hopefully it's working. Yay. Oh man, you guys stuck around. That's awesome. Okay, thank you. Okay, apologies for that. Okay, it's working. Okay, we'll get back to it in a second then. So I'll just keep going. Should I record this again? I am recording. Okay, we're recording again. Okay. So yeah, I'll just finish this and we'll jump in the suit. Sorry again, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around. So yeah, we are going to be sending the project file that will have all those characters and that mocap, but you can add your own mocap, follow our tutorial, and make your own stuff. We're going to be live streaming our judging session from our animation challenge, where we're giving away almost $40,000 in prizes. That's going to be on Valentine's Day, so that'll be fun. And then everyone who uses Rokoko Video during February will be automatically entered into a raffle to win a pair of smart gloves. So that's really cool. All you need to do is make one shot. You need to process a shot in Rokoko Video. You'll be entered to win a pair of smart gloves. So do that in February and you might have some smart gloves coming to you. Okay, so now let's jump in. Forget this nonsense. Let's get in our suit. Okay, so we got Rokoko Video open. I'm going to create a new scene. New project. We're going to call this webinar suit, baby. So we just released our new version of our software, Rokoko Studio. Almost about a month ago, something like that. Pretty recently. And it's been working great. And it was in beta for a long time, but now we have the ability to do all of the new advanced features of the smartsuit Pro 2 in a single program. So in Rokoko Legacy, Studio Legacy, you couldn't get elevation tracking, you didn't have Rokoko Video, you didn't have smartsuit boost. All these things that make your mocap work better works in Rokoko, the new Rokoko Studio. So we're really pumped about that. So I just put on my suit, right, which took me less than a minute. Took me about a minute, 60 seconds. Plug in a generic battery. The suit works entirely off of Wi-Fi. So there's no cameras or anything like that. And the way that I've got it set up here is that I'm connected to a Wi-Fi network that is working with my suit. And then I'm connected to an Ethernet cable that is working for my internet. And that's because live streaming takes up a lot of bandwidth. And so I don't want to do them all in the same system. So I'm going to add in my height to this actor profile. There we go. And I'm just going to add in my smart suit. And we'll do we have one calibration pose. Takes about 3 seconds. There we go. Mocap suit up and running. It's that easy. So it's really super simple to get your motion capture system up and running and creating stuff. And you know, this is definitely the higher level, right, of motion capture that we provide, right? You got your fingers, you got your hands, you got everything much more accurate, you know. Yeah, I can do my karate. Some of the fingers look a little bit funny, but when you actually export them, I mean, the thing everyone does is middle fingers, karate, or dancing. Yes, and I got some tracking, yes, for this camera now. Cool, so let's answer some more questions, baby. I'm gonna up my thing here. Let's go to that Q&A. Let's open it up. What do we got? We still, oh, no open-ended, no questions. Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat. What do we got? Fingers are killing the indie gamer. Plug and play Unreal. Gloves are so cool. Hey, James should be. Oh, cool. We're checking shipping times. Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing about the gloves is how much emotion there ends up being in your fingers. While you're moving and just doing your day-to-day thing, there's so much that you end up doing when you're talking, or you're, oh, it's a little tiny bit, or, oh, I'm looking out and oh, look at that, or, there's so much in terms of every motion that you do that the fingers add to. So that's really awesome. Nice. Mar something. I can't see your full name, but looks like they just ordered a whole system. That's awesome. You don't need a camera. So no cameras needed. Don't need a camera at all. This camera, don't need that. That has nothing to do with the system. The camera is only needed for our free AI motion capture tool, not this. And let me see if I can get face capture up and running. This iPhone I have is being pretty weird, but we'll see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this up and running, because that would be fun too. Let's see if I'm on the right Wi-Fi network. I'm not. So this is just an iPhone 10. This is an old iPhone 10. And I don't know if I even have the most recent version of our face capture app. We'll see. I think I do. So, okay, we've gotten this thing, but it might not work because I think the date is like wrong on my iPhone. Oh no, never mind. Hello. Oh, right. Start trial. Okay. Oh, right. I need to be in, sorry, I'm in the wrong, hold on. So I can do this. I just need to sign out and sign back in. Sign back in on my pro account. Hold on. Sign out, please. And so yeah, face capture is an add-on, right? It doesn't come with the suit, so it's a separate thing. So you need to add that on, right? And I didn't have that added on into this account. Okay, so I'm just going to sign out. Let's get some face capture up and running. Come on. And then I got a couple questions, good questions here that are coming through. So I'll answer those in a sec. Hold on. Okay, are we in the right thing? I'm just gonna go into this scene. I'm gonna repower my suit looks good. Okay, never mind. Add myself in here. Drag in my suit. Drag in face capture. Oh, I'm not in the right. Close scene. My team. Switch teams. Enterprise. Oh no, I'm in Byron's. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, you just need to be on the right, you can change what teams that you're in and things like that, which is actually pretty neat. Call it. I think you're, oh no, this is what we got. Haha. On one machine. Unreal. Let's see. So you can easily do the hands. We could open up an Unreal project, maybe. I got a lot of stuff running. It might crash Unreal. Let's go to this test. We'll just jump into here, and then we'll answer some of these questions, and then we might call it. Because it's, we've done it. We've done some good stuff. Matthias, get out of here. Delete actor profile from scene. We need add new actor. Sam, color pink, baby. Got to go pink with it. 67 inches tall. There we go. Add my smart suit. Add my face cap. Do a little calibration. Oh, and yeah, I got to repower my suit. It's all a mess. But yeah, you can see, oh, now that it's working. Face capture. Hey, it's in the scene. Whoa, whoa. So I got to repower my suit. Let me do that. And then let's answer some of these questions, and then let's call it. So I got a little stand here that I can use for my face cap. Do one of these. Boom. There we go. Am I back in? Oh, I gotta unplug and repower everything. Hold on. Okay, but let's answer some of these last questions, and then we'll get into it. So, is there any advantage to recording using 60 FPS for video for Rokoko video? Yes, there is. The only disadvantage is that it'll probably maybe process a little bit longer. But yeah, in theory, it's better to use 60 FPS. I don't, but it does make it better slightly. For movements that read better in profile, will you still record facing the camera? Punch moves, for instance. So I tend to do a 3/4 vibe. I don't know what is happening with my arm. Great. So I got to figure out what that is. I probably have to shut down Rokoko Studio. But maybe I'll just... Here we go. Yeah. Just want to... There we go. You know. Like that. How's that? Pretty good. Woo! Oh, this one. Yeah. Left arm being weird because we're on stream. That's what happens. Things go wrong. Okay, so I've been using Rokoko Video recently, and I've had an issue where the bicep area would rotate and break. I have to clean it up with 3D software. Yeah, currently that's just the way that it is. You have to do a little bit of cleanup. That arm issue can happen occasionally. Oh God, it looks like my suit is crapping out on me, being weird. It's because I got too many things open on this machine. But yeah, it is just kind of it's something that can happen. Oh my golly, Kansas. What is going on here? My brief experience. So from Rokoko user, basically just talking about, okay, this is just, I'm just going to kill this because there's too many things going on. Or here, I'll just keep my face up. Basically, the person is asking about, just getting mocap that needs a lot of cleanup, right? And that is absolutely something that you might need to do, like especially for Rokoko Video, and that's how it's intended, right? If you need something super clean, like Rokoko Video is probably not the right tool for you, because it is never going to be AAA level. I mean, it can be AAA level, but you have to do what you're talking about, which is you have to do cleanup. You have to use the tool within the sandbox that it's intended to be used, right? And for Rokoko Video's intention, it's to be for entry level mocap, quick previs, or other things where you don't really care about foot contact being foot contact's good, but like arms being wonky or things like that. Generating a particle cloud, previs, or using it for background characters, or using it for hero characters if you go in and do the mocap cleanup. But there's no real easy way to make Rokoko Video perfect. It's just not intended to be perfect, because it's a free tool. So that's kind of the thing there. A suit is much easier to clean up, right? And doesn't have those problems. If you use slow motion video, will improve the capture of the AI video of the video of Rokoko Video for slow motion. So it's the same question about the 60 FPS essentially. Yeah, it will. You'll have to time ramp it in post, but yeah, it will, because it's moving slower and it's easier for the software to pick it all up. How does it work with awkward movements like weird yoga postures, backflips? So Rokoko Video will pick it up pretty good, and the suit will pick it up well. The only thing it doesn't like is when you've got problems with your feet not being on the floor, right? That is going to be the main problem for Rokoko motion capture, whether it's a suit or whether it's whatever it is. Yeah, I'm going to have to fix the suit. So can the software, we got to do a calibration. Can the software handle two people doing things next to each other? Do you have to scan one person at a time? So we can actually get multiple actors in the same scene. I generally don't really recommend it because it means you're splitting the mocap bandwidth that you have. But yeah, you can get multiple actors in the same scene and it works fine. Can Rokoko render physics animation like having hair swaying? I mean, it can in the second, in your final software you end up in. You can add hair and things like that. The metahumans are really good for stuff like that. They have automatic physics. But within Rokoko Studio, no, there's no physics in here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I think we're actually going to kind of call it there. I think we've gotten to the end of pretty much everything. Let's check the Q&A for any last questions. And I'm also going to just, don't know what that was. That was a bit of a mess. Some great things in the chat. Yep. Would love to see something with props for sure. That would be great. Yeah, we do a live stream every Thursday at 11 a.m. Today this took the place of the live stream, but yeah, come join the live stream. I jump in the suit most days. Haven't while Rokoko videos been launching, but we'll get back to jumping in the suit and you can test stuff. We make free mocap for people. So it's a lot of fun. That's Thursdays at 11 a.m. Don't worry, Milan. We're going to be putting the whole thing up on YouTube, I think tomorrow, but at the very least on Monday. So yeah, I think we're going to call it again. Again, thank you everyone for joining and for sticking around for the weird suit problems. And I know that stream cut out and everything. But this was a lot of fun. Hopefully you got something from it. Again, use Rokoko Video in February to be automatically entered into a raffle to win some of these guys. Whoop, whoop. And pay attention, check out our Instagram and our YouTube. We're doing these contests and other exciting things are happening all the time. And, especially if you want to get a suit at a discounted rate, come to these webinars, come to our, join our animation challenges. We oftentimes offer discounts and things like that. So I am going to sign off. Again, my name is Sam Lazarus, and thank you all for coming. This was a great way to spend a Thursday having fun. And the Unreal Free project will be coming to your emails tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Have a good evening or morning, wherever you are. Okay.